Ready to roll. Do it. Wait for a few people to bounce in first, and then we'll kick it all off. But yeah, good to see everybody so far. Welcome to the show. We've got our guest here, Sarge, Chris. We're truly honoured, guys. We get to sit down with Chris, and he's spent 22 years in the Royal Australian Army, not only as a recruit instructor, but also part of the mortar crew. And that's a role that requires precision, teamwork, and the kind of mental toughness only some of us could imagine, for sure. So welcome to the stream, Chris. It's a pleasure to have you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Jules, mate. Awesome, man. This is awesome. I like the idea of this, man, and it's going to be a good night, man. I'm going to enjoy the chat and the conversation. It's going to be mad.
I look forward to it. Hell yeah. We got Drop the Mic, Infinite Wonders, Seether. Hell yeah.
Hey, boys.
All right, lads, to kick it off, we'll get started with some questions for Sarge. Sarge, tell us, mate, let's dive into basic training stories. What's some of the craziest things you've seen during basic training with some of the lads? When you first got to Kapuka, for example, or Shoalwater Bay when you're doing training?
Okay, some of the craziest shit would be probably, guys on the grenade range and they throw the grenade and it rolls out the back of their fingers, mate, and drops just down right beside their legs. And they've got to dive each way, mate, because when you're doing the training, you learn that and you hear the stories and you like laugh about it when you're getting told, like, who the fuck would do that? How would you let the grenade just... And then it happens, you know what I mean, one in a million times. And I was there for one of those, and the poor guy got fragged pretty good too through his webbing and into his kidney and a bit into his calf and that. But
were they live grenades, like proper grenades, eh?
Proper grenade, mate. Yeah, proper grenade. Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty full on.
So that was one of the craziest things I saw. And what else was there? I suppose. I don't know. That tops it for thing that sort of shocked us. But there's heaps of funny things like people feeling their, when you're on picket and you come in and get woken up, man, and they feel your boots full of thumbtacks, man. So when you get up out of bed,
you know what people are doing to you, just to fuck with you a little bit, eh?
You drive your fucking foot into your boot and your toe jams into all these thumbtacks, mate. And he's just like fucking instantly pissed off a million. But little shit like that, just fucking around with each other, man, and stuff like that. That was probably the fun, funniest and sort of.
Fuck yeah. Thumbtacks, bro, in the toes. First thing in the morning when you wake up, or even at picket, that'd be a bitch, bro. That'd be a bitch. Were you one of the people that was doing that?
Allegedly. Another one that we allegedly did too is in like maybe early 2000s and the late 90s, before we had really good night vision equipment. We had a night vision goggle called the Alphys PV. Was it Alphys PV1 Alpha? And to use it, what you had to do is you had to get this monocular, and it had this like a rubber dome that went around your eye, and you had to really push hard with your eye to sort of push this sort of curtain. As you pushed in your eyeball, a curtain would open so you could actually see the monocular. And what we used to do is the boys would get gun barrel or carbon off the end of their barrels, or a big bunch of Vegemite, and they put it on the inside of that dome. So when you'd be on picket, you hit something, you got that jam like gun barrel oil into your eyeball and all around your eye at fucking 3 in the morning.
That's rough, man. That's rough.
Yeah, so that was that was
good. At least she's had a sense of humour in all that. You know what I mean? That's good. Boost the morale for lads, I'm sure. Did anyone take that the wrong way though? While you were there, did anyone go, "Oh fuck this"? You're always fucking. Was there one guy like? Did you ever bastardize? Was anyone ever bastardized, for example, and like in a
like one dude in particular? Yeah, you would, mate. It would happen. It would happen, dude. Sometimes when you first get there, man, before you grow up in your mind, you jump on the bandwagon, man, and you start picking on the guys that you don't even know why. You just don't. You want to fit in. So part of my problem was trying to break that mold. But yeah, man, that did happen, bro. And then if they end up wanting to fight, you know, it happens. You could just imagine 3 in the morning, everyone's waiting for you to do it. We'll start laughing, and you put it down, your gun barrel and your eyeball. You want to start flogging cunts.
Yeah, bro. It definitely fuck with you a bit, eh?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
God.
same with everyone else. You know, it got to the point where and do fist fight. It's 3 in the morning, mate, and two guys go at it. There's no one there to stop it. You know what I mean? Like until we all run over
Yeah,
and pull each other. You know, they just get into it. There's no fucking cunt there to stop. And they're sober as too, so they go hard, mate. You just don't want to
So
start pulling knives.
did you ever play like you ever do pranks and stuff like that while you're overseas, while you're on operations or anything like that, or is it more focused and like, all right, we've got to stop playing as much here and just knuckle down a bit?
No, we definitely did. We just didn't want to. We didn't segregate people though, or one particular prank on the same guy. We made sure that when we were doing, all I did as a leader, when my boys were pulling that shit, I made sure they were getting pranked evenly. You know what I mean? Like there was no one being ostracized, so that they felt like they were the weak link. But yeah, no, pranks and all that shit has to happen, mate. You know, you got to have a. Not take yourself seriously. In the hardcore of cases, mate, you'll be pranking and trying to pull fucking stupid jokes that just don't sound right at the wrong time. Right?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. So yeah, wow. So while you were as a recruit instructor too, was there ever anyone in your troop where you're like, this cunt's not gonna make it, you know, he ended up surprising you all? Tell a bit about that person if there was one.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. I'd say there would be probably and it got me every single time too, even after 2 years, at the end of my 2 years, and I was a pretty a well experienced and respected instructor. And you know, I could sort of call you character because I'd seen so many men come through, so many different personalities from different backgrounds. I've become a good judge of character. But, you know, and even then at the end, I'd still go, I don't know about this guy, but they would always fucking change my mind, mate, or they'd always prove themselves, you know what I mean? Even though I knew that this happens a lot, I'd still, I don't know about this guy, but yeah, so that would happen, mate. And the way they would do it was that they would just find, because see, they weren't confident themselves, see? So they'd display that out weakness, you know what I mean? They wouldn't look you in the eye and all that type of stuff. They wouldn't go 100% because they were too scared of failing, mate. But once they realised they didn't have to worry about failing, and once they realised that, you know, they got confidence and that they were capable, that's when you see these young fellas overcome that doubt, mate. You know,
100%.
so I saw that a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Really awesome.
You could see them changing their character because you see now that they understand, holy fuck, I am capable of this. I can do that. I am a fucking, you know what I mean? It's a frame of mind, man, and then thinking that way. And then when you're doing physical activity or physical exertion or any mental toughness, knowing that you're that person and you've got it and you fucking got the grit because you're a fucking Aussie and that's what we are and that's what we do. You know what I mean?
No, fucking earth. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the mortar side of things, Sarge, being a powerful weapon and in a vulnerable position on the battlefield, how did you and the crew, your team, manage the fear of counterfire, knowing you could be targeted after each round that you took or shot?
Most definitely, mate. Being a mortician, we call them morticians, being a mortarman. Your vulnerability is because you're such a loud explosion and such a heat signature, mate. And you're usually firing in positions, mate. They can be you exposed to, especially helicopter or fast air.
Yeah.
It is a process, but we also have strategies and defense that we try to counter with that, with mock explosions on mountains to mimic a mortar crew. You know what I mean? Whilst we'll move to a new location and remain really quiet and off the map, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like it is a concern, mate, especially when you're firing aluminum missions or you're not actually firing HE, high explosive missions, or any type of harassing fire or whatever you're trying to do. When you're firing aluminum missions or when you're trying to illumine the battlefield, you know, because when we throw up an aluminum round, it will eliminate kilometre by 1 kilometre grid square. That's how fucking big an 81 aluminum round will blow up a hole.
Too, then, eh?
What's that?
Pretty bright then too, eh? Fuck.
Turns into daylight, like midday.
Yeah, well, that's
for like
intense.
for about a minute and 25 seconds, bro. The night just turns into day, K by K by K. So when you do that, you expose yourself a lot, and that's always scary to do. But the first thing you do at night time when the night turns to day is to freeze. Do not fucking move. Do
Yeah.
not move. Your eyes attracted to movement. Even that movement, when you see the loom go, just you jumping to the ground, taking cover, that movement will catch your eye. So if you get it just for, I don't know, if a fucking torch, if you're in the middle of the bush and someone puts a spotlight on you, man, and you don't want to be seen, don't drop to the ground or run to hide behind a tree. Just stop where you are.
Don't fucking move. Yeah. What is it?
Freeze.
Shape, silhouette, shape, sound, silhouette. I can't remember them all, Sarge. What are they called? The 5 S's and them.
In the military, we have a thing called why things are seen, and it's the 5 S's and an M. We used to say the 5 sluts and a mole. That's just a fucking phrase that we used to remember.
Break it down for me. 5 S's.
Shape, surface, silhouette, shadow, shine, movement.
Yeah.
You master those 6 things, you won't be seen in the bush. You master how to see these things, you won't be able to hide in the bush.
That's stealth, brother. That's stealth. So did you ever wind up doing any courses surrounding like escape and evasion, stuff like that?
Yeah, heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do
What
that
was
all
the
the time.
terrain like that you were doing the training? Did they have you in like simulated terrain, like like they built it themselves, or were you out bush for most of it doing that escape? and
No,
evasion?
always in a civilian environment. So they will take everything off us. So you'll just be in shorts and a shirt with runners. You'll be blindfolded and your hands will be tied behind your back, thrown in the back of a truck, and driven 5 hours in any direction, released, and you've got 72 hours to get home. You know, but there might be rules.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there might be rules. Like the rules might be you can't use any civilians, you can't go and see farmers, you can't ask for money, you can't ask for aid. You have to completely use your own methods of getting back. You know, or there might be like you can only go to service stations, or you can only ask farmers. There'll be like certain conditions on the escape and evasion training that you're doing. But yeah, man, you do that, mate. You know, yeah, once a year usually in adventure training. You know, you sort of do that type of stuff. You do a bunch of stuff. That's where you learn how to do rock climbing and you know,
spelling as well and stuff like that.
Mm.
What was the first time like when you rappelled out of a helicopter, Sarge? What was that like?
Adrenaline rush, exciting.
Were you going backwards or forwards when you've done it?
No, when you're rappelling out of a helicopter, feet first.
Feet first.
Feet
But like,
first.
are you facing outwards, or like you can't really have your back turned jumping out, can you? What am I saying?
You know, you step off, mate. You step off, and then you squeeze the rope. You have the rope a method. The way it comes up through your heels, through your boots, up through your calves. It comes up between your knees, your thighs, and it comes up through your chest, and then up through your forearms. And what you're doing is you're squeezing on all those muscle groups as your brake system, as the rope's coming down through. You're not just
so you are your own brake system, aren't you?
That's right.
If you let go, you're fucked. If you let go of that rope.
No, you're not. You're not, because you've got the rope a certain way through your legs, mate. So you've sort of got
to tangle you, sort of, if you.
Right. But it's called fast roping, man. You know, it's still dangerous though. It's still very dangerous, because what makes it dangerous is the weight you have.
Okay.
You know, because you got your rifle in your pack, so you've got like nearly 40 kilos extra on top of you, mate. So you got to manage. That's why you got to do a lot of strength training. You do a lot of training when you're doing shit like that, and we do a lot of practicing the static ropes before we even get into a helicopter, because with Australian military training is very safety orientated. So we make sure you're extremely competent before you put you in a real situation to even start proper training, you know?
100%, just so they can avoid situations with people getting tangled up, I imagine, going out of that helicopter.
Yeah, but you know what we're doing though, which is fucking extremely dangerous, man. There's always accidents and fatalities all the way through my career.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You can't manage everything. I mean, training for war, for fuck's sake, you know, shit's gonna happen.
100%. So we hear a lot about the physical side to it, Chris, with your with before you joined the army and whatnot, the exercise requirements and what's that running one, the beep test and stuff that you have to do with your times. So with all that, we know about the physical toughness required in the military. What about the mental side? What strategies did you use to keep your mind sharp in tough situations?
Okay, for me, when I'm in a tough situation mentally, And my mind would always want to, it's telling me to quit. This is too much. Everything's screaming. You can't feel your arm anymore. You thought, fuck, if I get into a firefight right now, I can't even feel my trigger finger, man. My fucking arm's that numb from my pack because I've been marching for 35 Ks. So everything inside your body is just saying to quit, sit down, take a rest, get that hot spot or that blister look to. You know what I mean? And look at the guys around you and you see sometimes, their determination and you think, fuck, they're stronger than I am, and you put yourself in this weak mental state. But the way over the years it got me to make myself stronger and to get through things was I'd think about, for me, because of what we're doing, it might seem extreme for some other people, but I put myself in situations that people were in, like in Gallipoli in World War One, in the Battle of Long Tan, in Korea, and I put myself in that position right there, and then I lived what that soldier was going through. Then all of a sudden, my situation now is not that hard. And it clicks me out of it and goes, you fucking weak cunt. What are you fucking whinging about? You want to fucking quit. You know what I mean? I have this little fucking war and it turns into positivity to then you're a professional, fucking keep going, cunt. You know what I mean? You got the flag. And that's how I used to do it. And now I just apply that to, my life now. And I feel like that, I say I've done this, I'm a father. I've got to set a good example to young men. This is where I want to be as a man. This is the standard I need to try and reach every day. It's fucking hard and you don't reach it. But you fucking try, and it's through thinking like that.
Perseverance, such fucking grit, true grit, mate.
That's what the problem with young people sometimes this day and age, they're not fucking tough enough. You know what I mean? They've got to take one and don't be offended. Take that offense, fucking learn what it is, understand where they're coming from, move on, move forward, educate yourself. Rather be offended, be curious.
That's it. 100%.
Yeah, mate.
All right, Sarge, I've got another one for you. What's the wildest or most memorable thing that happened during a live fire exercise that you still can't believe to this day?
All right. I think I've spoken about this on my page before. So some people that in the chat, they're with me. You might have heard this one, but it's a fucking good one, right? School of Infantry, 1996. We're doing a demonstration on how a clay mine works. And yes, for all those people that have played Call of Duty or seen those movies where they see the clay mines where it says front towards enemy, that's what we're learning how to use. We're learning about how to use them, how to manipulate, squads or enemy with them, how to use them strategically, how to use them offensively. And it comes to the day we're about to see the practical demonstration of what these things can actually do. So what our section commander did, he went away and killed about a 5'6" Eastern Grey kangaroo. Okay, now with the Claymore, as you'll see when you put them up in the game of Call of Duty or what have you, if you've never seen one up front, that's the reason why I'm using it. That's right. And you see the 4 legs on the bottom and they stick down, right? And then you sort of, you aim it. What they did this particular day is they laid it on its back with front towards enemy facing the sky. Okay. They got this fucking roo, right? And they placed the roo on top of the Claymore. Right? And we sit back, we got back about 30 meters and he had 65 meters or so into this sort of slide onto this bunker. And then what you hook up, you put a detonator, and the detonator is hooked up to this electrical det cord, right? And you roll it out, and it's hooked up to what we call an M57, which is also known as the clacker. And when you hit the M57, it creates an electrical shock that flies down the det cord, detonates the detonator that sets off the Claymore, right? Now he hits the 57, boom, boom. The roo just gets sent. And you can see, you're looking at it, this thing's sailing up. And as you see, as you're looking at this roo, not much is happening, but it seems to be getting larger. So you're like, fucking, as it's getting higher too, so you think things should be getting smaller because it's getting away from you, right? But the thing looks like it's getting larger, and you're like, still sort of in the shape that it was when it left the ground. We're looking, and it hit sort of the vertical where it's going to hit, 100 feet, and starts coming down and just separates. And we just got covered in blood and bone. It just rained.
Yeah, wow, no shit.
Yeah, bro. Oh, mate. And we saw what it did to that kangaroo, mate. And it was like, holy fuck. It was a powerful demonstration for us visually to see what a claymore can do to a body. And also, it was pretty fucking disgusting and a pretty fucking hardcore. You're not meant to do shit like that in a training establishment, you know. So for us to get covered like that, man, was it was probably one of the craziest shit I've ever seen on a live firing range. That's for sure.
Yeah, fuck. That's awesome. Fucking blew up a kangaroo and got covered in guts. Like sort of like what they done on that beach almost with that whale. They filled it with the TNT and they just boom. They just there. Cunts got covered. People got hit with that shit and they got hurt.
Shit.
Oh yeah. So how did the training and the mindset from your army career influence the way you handle challenges in normal day-to-day life? Say you get into an argument with someone out at the shops for a road rage situation, someone's jumped out of their car, because you're obviously more than capable of, you know, if you need to, putting someone on the fucking ground. So, so how do you cope with that now?
Right. First of all, the biggest thing is to never let yourself get in that situation in the first place, but it's inevitable sometimes. Second thing is my training and my military experience transitions into my civilian life is, first of all, my situational awareness, mate. In the military, you've always got to understand who the fuck is around you and what their distance is, what they have on them and how they look and what their fucking body language is like. So now when I step out of a vehicle, before I even drive into a shopping centre car park, I'm already assessing the situation of the car park, who's around, what's going on, what's the front of the shopping centre look like? Is it clogged with people? Is there worried faces? Is there concern anywhere? And as I'm pulling in and I'm selecting my car part and I get out straight away, I assess the men and women around me straight away, see what they're carrying, what they look like, what their body language is like, if there are concerns on their face. Then I see where my family are and what their situation is, and then I start to look for weapons that I can use in the car park or outside the building in case of emergency right now. And that's always constantly going through my mind as I'm doing this good. Also, hypervigilance. I suffer badly from hypervigilance. That's why I live in the bush. One of the main reasons. Withdrew me from that environment. It slows down my mind that I'm not hypervigilant all the fucking time. So that's one way. And the second way is respect to my soldiers. I learned through the army, through mateship, is one thing that you need to understand, or people need to will bounce and look at you in the eye and take you fucking seriously if you show them respect.
100%.
So that's like to stop that conflict happening is respect.
For sure.
So situational awareness, respecting people, being kind, mate, and like being kind to my soldiers and respecting my soldiers is when I got the most out of them as people. So that translates into civilians as well because they're the same at the end of the day.
Now, I know you're not supposed to have favourites, Sarge, but what are the best qualities you look for in soldiers? For you yourself, what did you find?
Selflessness. When somebody puts their mates before themselves, highest quality you can have. First thing you look for in a person, and then when people do that, it shines out really, really, really well. So when you see that, man, you want those people on your side straight away. When people demonstrate selflessness straight away. And then the hardest things, mate, to get is trust. You know, trust is the biggest one, man. Trying to, get somebody to trust with your life. And, and know that they've got you in the time when they're going to be vulnerable as fuck, when everything in their body's going to be saying, no way, man, I've got to think about me and my safety. Trying to find those people you surround yourself with, man, that's, I suppose, it's hard to get, it's hard to trust, and also loyalty. There's a heap of it. Integrity too, these people that you need to be around that you want in your team that you're looking for, and men is integrity too. You want men to, I fucked up. They're straight up to you. I fucked up, owning it, man. Letting everybody, because they're not about being shameful or thinking they're the weak link. They're coming to you to say, I fucked up. Because first of all, I owned it. I fucked up. So everyone knows we can count on this cunt, man, because he's honest. And his integrity is saying this too, because the rest of the boys can learn from my mistake. Instead of trying to hide it, he's saying, look, man. And that integrity, mate, is of the utmost as well. So that's what, when you find guys like that, you do favoritism, mate. You try to put them in your side, put them on better courses, because you want guys like that in the army. You want guys like that around you. You want guys 100%. Like that Yes, right.
And I think it should be selected like that anyway, so you can build better crews and whatnot for, foster stronger teams and shit. So,
Yeah.
for sure. Hey, we've got a question in chat for you. I won't be taking many questions from the chat, just so we know. But Sandgroper here, how many nudie runs did you do while you were in the army, my bro?
Oh, fucking heaps, bro.
Fucking heaps.
Heaps, bro.
Oh,
My boy,
no.
Afghan. We did him Afghan. Yeah, we did about 5,000 soldiers in Kandahar. One of my boys, they were all going down to watch a fucking baseball match or an ice hockey match that all the armies had sort of got on this day where there's no sort of white fighting going on. And one of my boys, balaclava on and got naked, mate, run through the centre of the pitch.
Oh, shit.
I've actually got video of it. I've actually got video of it, mate. Yeah.
Oh, man. We'll have to check that one out backstage sometime, my bro. That sounds crack up. I don't know if we get dropped for putting it up on the stream, but yeah.
But yeah, no, we've done heaps of nudie runs, bro, all over the place, man. Yeah, especially when we're on the piss together. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Someone's naked somewhere.
That's awesome. Oh shit! Well, Sarge, we're basically half hour in. You feel like a cone or something? What do you reckon?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do it.
Mate.
I didn't have one to start it off, but I think we've done it right this far. Let's rip a cone. We'll keep it going.
Yeah, take them if you got them.
I hope everybody in chat, you're enjoying the stream so far. If you are, make sure to drop a thumbs up. We are streaming both channels. Sarge is live on his, and we're live over here on mine. So we appreciate the support.
If Jack's in the chat, man, if you can just have a look on the YouTube page, I can't see it coming up on my page, so I might have done something wrong.
Oh, let me have a quick look. I'll check on my phone for you.
I was trying to send it, but it wouldn't fucking. Yeah, is it? It says it easily.
Yep, live over there.
Okay, sweet.
Sweet as.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, I'm just packing up. Bear with me. I hope you don't send me. I've got a few more questions still. So.
Yeah.
No,
I've got nothing, mate. I'm happy. This is cool. I like this environment. Not so formal, mate. Have a billy, fucking.
Oh, that's it. Try not to be too fucking rigid with it. You know what I mean? Still talk loose. Say what we're gonna say. Say hello to chat as well. Make sure we engage with them. Yeah, big love to everybody tuned in. See you there, Ramo. Asfish, how you doing, mate? CJ, Woodsy, Hursty, Ashley. Good to see everybody. Come on, guys. Fucking wrong order. Cheers.
Yep.
All right, Sarge. Next question, mate. Fucking, what role did mentorship play in your career, both as mentor and as someone who received guidance?
That played mentor in my career.
Yeah. What role did mentorship play in your career, both as a mentor and someone who received it?
Right. A lot.
So
actually,
how'd you go from like you're giving drill, you're telling people like get shit done, do it, and then when someone's having a hard time, like how'd you guide them out of that?
Right. Oh, mate, that's a good question because as myself, looking for leadership and looking for that pat on the back and wanting to belong as a young man myself within the section teams and the fighting teams, was was treated with disrespect and like always expected you to perform at your 100% first time every time, and that pressure, more often than not, you always failed the first time because you put too much pressure on yourself. So I found when I become to those leadership positions, it was my time to do like exactly what you're saying, and I'm giving the fucking orders now, and the boys have to respond to me. I think I spoke to you this backstage or somewhere before, and I always remember what it was like when I was that soldier, mate. You know, what I needed to know to make sure I perform my best. I'm still having in the back of my mind, it's okay if I fail. You know what I mean? That's why we train. We train so that we can get our failures out and we learn about our failures instead of trying to hide them and pretend we're this. And no, I'm not going to do that because every time we do that, someone fucks up. But going over into that environment and getting comfortable with that fuck up so that it doesn't happen again. You know what I mean? I think, and when guys would fail, I would just let them know that you're human. It's okay to fail. This is why we train. This is why we train. You know, I'm going to be pissed off. Of course I am, because you just made me look like a dickhead as a commander.
Yeah, that's it. Because you're
That's
training
my
them up, so it reflects on you as well.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Every single one of those soldiers reflect the way they carry themselves, the way they hold themselves. They all reflect on my leadership, mate. You know, a lot of leaders forget that. They forget that the way them soldiers are reflects on the way they are, mate. Because you know, it does. But you don't realise that till you're a leader, and your soldiers fuck up, and the RSM's coming to you. I saw your fucking soldier with his fucking shirt untucked, talking shit. You know, that reflects boom, and you're like, oh, holy shit. I never thought about it from that angle as a soldier, but now they're under you. You're like, oh man, it makes you think.
You make sure the uniforms are spotless and that, because when the higher ups above you come and suss out, they're sussing you out too, huh? So
100, because if I condone that uniform, that means I condone that poor fucking misbehaviour, which means it shines on my leadership that I haven't got much. The boys don't respect me. The uniform shit. He hasn't got the balls to pick his soldiers up, so he condoned it. He's a weak leader. Just in him having his fucking shirt tucked in, it says that whole story to another fucking sergeant, right? So you got to learn. You got to try and manage that sort of greatness without being without being pompous, without being disrespectful, but understand the soldiers that it comes down to professionalism. At the end of the day, you're being paid, to do this. You're a soldier. You've picked this career. It's a lifestyle. It's not a job. The government owns you, man. So, you got to put your best foot forward, mate, because you're not just reflecting on you. You're reflecting on your leadership, reflecting on your fucking country,
100%.
So, yeah, I just remind the soldiers that when they fuck up, it's okay to fuck up. But the thing we'd say in the army, don't make the same mistake twice. Make it once, make as many mistakes as you want, but don't make the same fucking thing done twice, mate. Learn. And if you don't know, ask questions.
My old boss had a saying to me is, you do it once, you do it right. He's pretty big on that. So if you do it right, you do it once. But
yeah, mate. I mean, there is. We're in a job where we train where we can allow fuck ups. Sometimes we need them. We need to have fuck ups, so we know that we. Sometimes you go into a thing overconfident, going, "We've got this," and there's no fuck ups, and it gives you this essence of, "Oh man!" And all of a sudden something happens, and you're like, oh, "Didn't even think of that." So as a commander, when I'm going to the training, I start injecting problems, mate. Because you want things to trigger to happen, so that you think of all those things that might not happen.
So you're not caught off guard at the same time. That's clever.
You go into a war zone, bro. You'd think you got everything covered, but you just don't know. So you just start thinking of all these weird things, man, just to try and inject different type of fucking trigger, thought processes, mate. Crisis management.
That's it, 100%. Because each scenario in that live firefight would be different. Every circumstance, I imagine.
Well, yeah, well, that's right, mate. And I mean, you have an actions on it. What normally happens, that always happens in a firefight. There's always shots coming your way. There's always an enemy, mate. There's things that always happens.
Expectations, guarantees.
That are always there that you have covered, mate, that you're expert at. When this happens, this happens. When that happens, this happens. We're experts in that. But it's the things that, like, oh, we got a flat tire. And the boys are fucking changing the tire. Then bang, then you get hit. While the boys are changing the tire. It's those sort of weird ones, mate, that you got to try and train for. And it's hard to come up with scenarios to train for those situations.
Yeah. No, of course. So what were some of the scenarios that you threw in to mess it up a little bit, to create those problems for people to work towards? What was one of those scenarios?
I would say, righto, I would be just about ready. The boys thought they had everything covered, and then I'd say, lock your weapon in the armory. I'd give it to me, and I'd lock it into a trunk, and then I'd say, now we're going to tell everyone you just left your weapon back at the last position. And now I'd see how the guys are going to react and what we're going to do now, because we've got to backtrack to go and look for a weapon where we don't know really where it is, but we could have dropped it anywhere in that form. What are the things we're going to have to think about? What are the things we're going to have to do now? Still trying to keep to our timeline.
So
Maybe our current
keeping that mind engaged too. Yeah.
100, bro.
Yeah.
You know, situations like that, or in the middle of nowhere, I'll just go, you've just been bitten by King Brown. Bang. Now the boys have got to deal with a fucking dangerous venomous snake injury, mate, on the time.
Giving me memories back to Army Cadet Sarge, because we had to do the role plays with that as well, and they even if someone had like a compound fracture as well, and you had to do was it a splint, I think it's called?
Yeah.
Where you got like where you had to get a plank, for example, or something flat, and then tie it to someone's leg and shit, tourniquet it, and you're not allowed to cut the pressure off too much, or the circulation will end up having their leg removed.
Did you do it?
Because of the blood flow.
Yeah, sorry, mate. My son was just talking to me, but no, that's right. Exactly what you're talking about, that medical training, man. Nothing's really changed when it comes to fractures like that. It's the same stuff, man.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah,
and it was an interesting one too, because when you're doing these exercises and stuff, you know, like, and you're that person, you're having that fucking stick tied to your leg and shit, and they're twisting it and whatever, and then they got to stand you up, and you're not allowed to help whoever's under your arms. You know what I mean? You got to put all your dead weight on them. They're literally dragging you, bro, and your shoulders hurt off, like under your armpits are fucking hurting, bro, because they're dragging you the way they are. It's a hectic enactment. But as a young person in that, that was pretty valuable for me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. And so you see, just in training, and then when you're doing that real life training, it comes with a lot of things that you learn by doing that. You know what I mean? If you didn't act that scenario, because you add somebody screaming to any situation, it just that person screaming adds character instantly.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to training with somebody screaming for their fucking life, mate. So if you can add that in training, already when it's complex and they think they've got all their actions on covered,
that screaming will still trigger something in the brain too, won't it? So
it does, mate. Yeah. It signals fear. It sends fear. It sends a bunch of stuff off, mate, to get what you're actually focused on, mate, because all you can hear is this guy or girl screaming their head off, man. So you always introduce that into a situation straight away. You've just had your leg blown off, start fucking screaming for your life, you know, and you just get on their case until you're happy with the way they're screaming. They'll maintain that scream for the next 10 minutes, you know, and you'll see how they start to fall apart, mate. So, yeah, you know, you got to do training like that, man. It's hard to think about situations.
Sounds very intense.
Yeah,
we had another one on base. We were doing, not on base, at the unit that I was doing my cadets at, and they were doing one with a car accident sort of scenario. So we had somebody laying over on, and you know, we weren't sure how to approach the situation, but we done the 5S's and them, the doctors. What was it? The fucking doctors ABC. I can't.
What was it called? Dr. ABC.
Doctors ABC, yeah, I was right. Fucking. So we had to do that one as well. And in that situation where we fucked up, because we did everything properly we were supposed to, but the moment we tried to move them, that's when we got fucking yelled at. Because with someone that's been in a car accident, you don't know whether or not they have a spinal injury. So this was a valuable lesson. Don't try and move them out of a car. You fucking, like, nothing. Unless the car's on fire, like, yeah, like, you don't do nothing. But if they're on the ground, they've got a spinal injury, and that's something we didn't think of. We're like, what the fuck? Spinal injury? Oh, come on, you serious? And they're like, no, they're yelling at us. Don't fucking touch them. You can't touch them. So what do you do? I can't remember the rest of how that played out, but it was it's interesting to go through all that. You know what I mean? And as young people, we did take it seriously, which was good. It was really good.
It is, mate. I mean, first aid training is the best thing you can do. Inform yourself with just basic first aid training on how to do, you know, how to deal with snake bites, how to deal with open wounds like really bad cuts, how to deal with if somebody faints or passes out or drowning, how to deal with a drowning victim at the beach or at a swimming pool. especially if you're a parent and you have children. It's in your best interest to understand
Yeah,
first aid.
100%. And that
Around
first aid
children.
certificate doesn't even cost much to go and get or do. It's not hard to learn.
And you have to, because if you apply first aid training, what you think you've seen on movies to children, like when you're giving CPR to a baby, you're using one finger, two fingers at max on their chest. If you went like that as a compression human, you
Yeah,
would crush
you're
them.
gonna, yeah, 100. Their ribs and all that. It's not the same. The structure and the bones are more flexible as well. They're not solid. They're malleable. So it's, being very careful in that, and you use this knowledge with animals too. I've seen people resuscitate dogs, give dogs mouth to mouth CPR, and they bring their fucking dogs back forever, however long it is after that. Who knows what the complication was? But you see these things, and it is valuable knowledge all around. So, 100%.
It is, mate. And for the people with Dr. ABC, the danger. So if they did have a spinal injury, the reason why you would pull them out without addressing the spinal injury is the D out of Dr. ABC, which is dangerous.
Dangerous.
The car's
Say
on
you're in
fire.
that firefight, or you're in a
Or if you're in your situation, how they were saying if in a car accident and they said not to touch the neck, the reason why you wouldn't touch the neck and pull them out is if the car was on fire, because then you worried about their life. So then you would say that's what the D is for. Danger response is the R. So danger response is by breathing circulation.
And the airways, that was another thing as well. What was, you're not supposed to fucking, something about your fingers getting bitten off to stop people choking on their tongue. You don't want to be sticking your fingers in people's mouths to stop them choking on their tongue. You got to position them in the correct way, the recovery position, I think, and tilt the head back. Because when you tilt your head back, it actually opens up your airways more. You can breathe better. Compared to if you got your head down like this, you're not breathing as effectively. So
if their face is smashed though, like I've seen, like if all your teeth are smashed in and your mouth is fucking, your airway is completely blocked. That's when you do put two fingers in their mouth.
Start digging shit out. Yeah, I've had to do it for a friend who took too much of something. Won't go into detail, but that again, it's that knowledge, putting my mate in the recovery position, checking his pupils for that response, dilation and whatnot with LED light, not getting it, not far off a triple O call. But it's just this knowledge saves people's lives, man. So it's very valuable.
Yeah, it's excellent. Inform yourself with medical knowledge, man. You know, it's always going to be a good investment, that's for sure.
That's it. Plants too, medicinal herbs. That's another great investment.
Take it next level, man.
All right, so Sarge, I've got another question for you, mate. So looking back, what would you tell your younger self at the start of your military journey, knowing everything that you do now?
Oh man, what would I tell my younger self? Not to worry about what other people think. Don't concern yourself too much with what other people think. So you put yourself in situations or do things that you think is going to impress them to like you. That off. Fuck that way of thinking off out of your life. Fuck what other people think. You know, you prove yourself through your actions and what you demonstrate when you act and you do things with conviction and real, then people will accept you or see you or character for who you are. So fuck that line of thinking off as a young man. If someone could tell me that, don't do things to impress people. Don't do things because you think they're going to like you because you're doing that, because it might make you tough. It might make you look intelligent. It might make you look that, see things from the way of point of view they might want you to see them from. Don't worry about that way of thinking. Just do you, but do you with conviction and do you with realness. So that would be the biggest piece of advice: is just you don't do things for other people. To want to belong.
Be selfish in that sense. You know what I mean? Don't try and fit in too hard and compromise yourself to be liked by other people. 100%. Fucking oath.
Yeah. And respect is a big one. Respect goes a long way. Yeah.
So with all that, 22 years in the Royal Australian Army, Sarge, Chris, what's a message you could leave for current soldiers serving and any future soldiers that are looking to sign up?
Yeah, well, current soldiers serving, fucking thank you for your service for starters. And
100%.
just always remember what you're doing it and who you're doing it for. It's not about you. So when you're pissed off and you got to go bush on fucking Christmas Day and everyone else is don't be bitter. You're the one, mate, that's going above and beyond protecting your fellow citizens. Never forget that. Okay, it's a job that goes unnoticed a lot of the time. We're just lucky that we go to war now. So now, like people like myself and other veterans, they look at us because we've gone into a war zone. But before that, we were unspoken people, just walked around amongst other people no one give a fuck about.
Yeah.
So always remember that you're doing it for your fellow. It's a humble job and it's a rewarding job, and fucking thanks. And for them young men and women that want to join, mate, it's a career. There's place for you to grow, learn yourself, get paid more. You've got civilian qualifications that translate to the civilian world. So anything you do, you can, you get recognition of prior learning, and you get those competencies looked at.
So all of your training and the courses you do, that being the Army, is a registered training organisation. So of the highest fucking degree. So
we have TAFE. Like for example, if you do any type of communications work, you're aligned with Box Hill TAFE in Victoria. So all your certificates come through Box Hill TAFE. So you're actually aligned and getting the copies through actual tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, it'll give you a sense of belonging. It'll give you a sense of pride. It'll give you a sense of purpose. It'll give you a discipline. It'll give you routine. All the things young people need in their life, man.
100%. We all need that, guys. I think for sure, 100% as young people. I see the generation even younger than me struggling a bit, with that routine and that structure and the discipline. Yeah. But no, I appreciate you jumping up, Sarge. This has been awesome.
And it'll give you self-defense skills too. Like you learn how to fight. You learn how to fight with rifles. You learn how to fight with bayonets. You learn how to fight with knives. You learn how to do unarmed combat. You learn how to fight with garrote.
Mate.
Yeah, and you do unarmed combat horses, mate. 6 weeks of just 8 hours a day fighting different methods, mate. Learning Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu. Learning how to de-knife people, how to de-arm people with rifles, mate. So you get a good sense of self-defense, so you can just look after yourself in civilian world as well.
Yeah, 100. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, fucking nice. So with anybody considering joining the Army, definitely take all of these things into consideration, because we need more young people to join up. Yeah, fucking nice. I think we'll roll with some questions from the chat before we wrap this one up.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll do an open session after this. Just keep this one nice and clean for the most part. But if anybody in the chat has any questions for Sarge, go your hardest, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're here for. It's a Q&A. I hope you've enjoyed the show for the most part. Make sure you go check out Sarge's channel. We will drop a link to him. And yeah, if you got anything you want to ask, more than welcome to.
Yeah, bloody hey, bring it on. Like Billy.
Yeah, I reckon it's time for another one. Fucking oath. That last one almost dropped me, Sarge, and I didn't have any water nearby, so I had to be careful. Oh. But so I want to say as well, Chris, thank you for your service, mate. You served longer than I've even been alive, for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? You've served my entire lifetime, bro. And that's incredible to me. That's a long time. You know what I mean? While I was in fucking nappies going through kindy and all that, you're over there doing that shit. So, no, thank you, mate. Honestly.
No, I appreciate that. Cheers. Cheers, bro. Yeah, it was good, mate. I was lucky to serve my country, man. Don't regret 1 minute, like every single bit of it.
I think we're lucky to have you serve our country as well, mate. Because fuck, you got all your boys home, bro. You know what I mean? Yep. You got all the boys home, brother. That's fucking wear that proud, mate.
I know. That's my greatest achievement, mate. Out of everything, that's my greatest achievement my whole career. Is all the times I went anywhere, mate. All the lads came home, mate. We all came home together.
Mm.
It's a good feeling. Some lads
Fuck.
went, you see the other sections and debts, mate, that didn't have that. And they tore them apart, mate. As you can only imagine. It tore us apart. In fucking coffins, mate. Seeing your flags wrapped around their coffins and put them on the plane. It's fucking hard, man. It's hard shit. So when you bring your boys back, it's a good feeling.
100. Fucking cheers to that, Sarge. You rock star, mate. Oh, no.
Hey guys, how did you heat up food out there? Mate, we're pretty good. We're pretty lucky because we have Bushmasters. You can carry gas bottles, mate. So you literally LPG gas bottles and fucking have cooking apparatus, and you can pull up in the wildies. And if you're in a forward operating base, you had a mess. So he actually had a fucking cook, and he had a team of cooks that would cook your food. So you didn't have to worry about food too much because obviously we're mission orientated. So if you can take away, what I'm going to cook my food with at dinner time, if you can take that worry away from a soldier, it just keeps him focused on his mission. So we did really well at, making sure our soldiers were fed without them having to worry about too much about worrying about cooking and stuff. So, but if we did, we have gas bottles, so we could, it wasn't too bad. But we don't train like that.
For those that don't know, Sarge, what's a Bushmaster for those that don't know?
A Bushmaster is a vehicle that weighs about 14 ton, has a Caterpillar engine in it. It has a Mag 58 machine gun mounted on the roof to a joystick to a screen in the passenger seat, and he can use that joystick and zoom in with the things and engage people with that joystick from the passenger side. In the back is, I believe it was 8 seats, individual seats with racing harnesses with air conditioning in front of them all. And the back ramp, there's a back door opens. It's completely bulletproof. It's pretty well blast proof. It's pretty much RPG proof. It has a V hull. So when you run over an IED or a fucking vehicle mine, it can disperse at least 40 kilos of TNT and still survive the blast. So it's a really good armored personnel carrier.
I think we spoke about the design before with the you're gonna have to explain it to me again, Sarge. The flat bottoms don't work as well as the arched and the geometric ones we're talking about.
On traditional vehicle, traditional tanks, traditional armored personnel carriers in the past, there's a flat bottom and it's usually thick steel. But when you're dealing with 40 kilos of TNT, it breaches that steel quite easily. So what we did was we have a V hull on the bottom of the Bushmaster. So as you can imagine, as the explosion comes up, it's diverted. And when you divert it like that, it doesn't have the power breaching inside the hull. So it blows everything off. So it blows the wheels and the tool bins and the fuel tank and everything off. But everybody inside the back of that V hull is safe because the actual vehicle the actual frame hasn't been breached. So they're not exposed to the blast or the shrapnel.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. That's incredible. Actually, before we wrap this up too, we got another question. I've actually got a clip I want to show you from a blacksmith, a forge that I've seen on the news. But we'll run the question first and then I'll bring this up. It's late in the day, you're headed back to base. When you come under fire and you route off, seek an alternative way and travel into the darkness or bunker down for the night.
I'd bunker down for the night, bro. I'm not going to travel into darkness because they could set an ambush up that could be pushing me in a direction I don't want to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fucking reverse or drive 100 meters, 200 meters straight out of the direction of that fire. I'm going to reverse the Bushmasters. I'm back first. I'm going to have those guns I'm talking about manned. I'm going to have machine gun pits. The boys are going to start digging in shell pits so that if they decide to rocket us or mortar us, we've got shell pits we can lay in to disperse the shrapnel. I'm going to sit there for the night, wait till dawn, and then I'll reassess the situation.
Yeah. Awesome. The thing that you do is someone's got that light on you, don't fucking move. Don't drop down. Don't try and run. if you've been spotted, don't move. Don't move the fucking
Yep.
inch.
Freeze.
That's it. But we've got another question here from Aussie Pugilist. G'day, mate. It's good to see you. Says,
Hey,
G'day,
pal.
Goody. Was there any time you had to go without food for a few days?
In a war zone, no. In training, we did food deprivation. We actually did food deprivation exercises where
Potato a day?
what's that?
Potato a day sort of thing?
No, they do worse, mate. We'd go out bush for 8 days, but they'd give us food for 72 hours. They go, here's a ration pack to it. And we know when we get ration packed to 72 hours, on hour 48, we get another 72 hour, day 48, another. So everybody's doing their thing. And then when 72 hours come up, they said, I didn't tell you that's the food for the rest of the bush trip. So you've been eating normal. Now you realise all the little sugar packets and Milos, coffee left
And
over.
they're still going to check your
Another
kit to make sure you haven't kept that pack for 72 hours. You're not allowed to. I'm sure.
Yeah. So we did food deprivation to try and help you manage the way you were. Plus, to see how soldiers put them under duress with no food for a few days, mate, it brings character traits out that wouldn't usually be seen. Same
Your
as
body goes through ketosis in that stage as well. So that does things to the brain. It heightens the senses. It does a lot of things. Yeah, 100%.
And then you add a little bit of sleep deprivation with plenty of physical inertia. So lots of long walking through the night, 40 Ks, no rest, onto a picket, 40 Ks, no rest, onto a picket. And then you start putting duress on people's character and you can start to see their flaws. It's what we need to do so you can understand those flaws.
Yeah, great combination for exhaustion.
That's what you want. You want to be exhausted.
Mentally, physically.
What if a firefight goes for a week, mate? How do you mimic those situations? By doing shit like that.
That's it. Oh, wow. We've got another question here from Fairgrown Freestyles. Was your first experience of battle exactly as you expected? Did the training and all previous Army experiences provide the precise picture of what happened? Or is it something unimaginable each time, I'd imagine?
No, it's very relatable. Very relatable. We put ourselves in very good environments, mate, and we learn from people that have been in those situations first too, so they can paint a good picture for you already. And we watch lots of footage. We watch lots of footage of body cam that not seen by the public. That we can, so you can sort of understand and have a what do you call it, a mind's eye picture of what you think is going to be like for the first time.
Yeah,
and it meets those expectations, mate.
Oh, that's good. So they prep you proper good then. That's what we like to hear. Fuck nice. Spot on. All right, if we have any more questions, I'll roll them after this clip. Bear with me. I just have to find it.
But having said that, there's still been situations where all of a sudden 107 rocket mill are coming out of the sky and you've got nowhere to hide. Then you go, well, we didn't train for this type of stuff. This is next level. So you do have situations like that, but 9 times out of 10, it's not like that. It's usually just run of the mill stuff.
Yeah.
People fire it. Then they'll get into a contact, and then once we start to get close, they'll drop their weapons and run, or it's usually the same thing.
For sure. All right, I'll try and bring this clip up. It's gonna fuck with the layout of things, but that's all right. We're gonna have to roll it this way anyway. All right.
Food, clothing, our government says it cares about having products made in Australia. But apparently getting other countries to help make our secret military weapons is just fine.
We can make munitions, such as bombs.
This kind of industrial capability has been underfunded in Australia for a long time.
We're running out of work and the place will close down.
We have this capability and we should do everything possible to preserve it.
What does it mean if this place closes?
it's serious, we will not be able to defend ourselves.
Can you imagine our nation's defence could largely depend on the future of this small factory tucked away in Gosford on the New South Wales Central
Give
Coast?
away where it is.
Well, this is a mini version, proportionally correct, to a bomb that's about as tall as us.
Nick Burgess owns Kaiman Forging and Engineering. He's a third-generation blacksmith and skilled at making bomb casings. He dreamed of owning this huge forging hammer that played a crucial role in World War II in France.
It was making very large munitions, barrels, tank barrels and things like that.
The hammer can do the same thing here. It's already performed defence work for our Collins-class submarines.
Mate, it's a bit hot in here.
Very hot, but it's about to get a lot hotter once the furnace doors open and the big hammer starts going.
Nick says this is the only hammer in the Southern Hemisphere capable of producing massive bomb casings for warheads carried by our fighter jets.
A couple of years ago, Defence got to tap into his knowledge and get him to modify some bomb casings. Now, Nick spent hours on the drawings and got back to Defence with a quote. However, his contact there...
Real quick, so we don't get popped. I just got to pause it. What do you think of that so far, Sarge, with that knowledge?
That's scary, mate. The fact that we should be making all our own munitions for sure. We shouldn't outsource that to anybody, because then what if they start fucking with our munitions, mate? 1 in 3 fail.
100%. And the Defence Force did respond, and they did tell you we do have a supplier, but we are importing these munitions and they are capable of being made internationally, but we're at risk of doing that, especially in war times. As supply gets cut off, then we leave ourselves fucked.
Yeah.
So the government, they do have to back these fellas somehow with subsidies, something along those lines.
Unfortunately, even for the greenies, mate, those people out there, you need bullets and bombs to fucking defend what we have. Unfortunately,
Yeah, you want to defend your trees and those pretty fucking waterfalls that we have. Like, that's what we've got to do. Because the Chinese come here, they don't care about none of that. They're taking the resources. They don't care. It's South Australia alone. I'll mention this. South Australia alone is sitting on a $250 million gas deposit that could power this state for over a year alone. But we can't touch that natural source of gas. Why? It's sitting on sacred lands, right? China don't care about none of that. And that gas, we could use this. We could benefit greatly from it. Our economy and the power shouldn't be increasing that way, but it's not the focus right now. I'll show you this. I'll play the rest of this clip. Hang tight. Bear with me.
has moved on, and the replacement told Nick she knew nothing about the project.
Maybe they're not aware of how serious forging is, but I think it's more about...
Meanwhile, Nick's business has been losing money, hit by the Australian manufacturing curse. Work's dried up, and with no defence contract, he'll have to close.
It'll be devastating. This is what I love. This is what I've always done.
It's not only a hit to Nick, but potentially a huge blow to our national security.
What will it mean for the ADF if you close?
If we close down, they're going to lose the capability of Australia making munitions, bombs, artillery shells, tank barrels, cannon barrels, and all sorts of components.
That is a serious statement to make.
It's huge.
You know, there are a lot of small to medium enterprises in Australia that are very frustrated with the Defence Department at the moment.
We asked Dr. Marcus Hellier, Head of Research at Strategic Analysis Australia, about Nick's claim that the pending Kaiman Forging Engineering will leave a hole in Australia's defence.
So it's probably not surprising that there's not a lot of companies in Australia that can do those sorts of things, which makes it all the more important to preserve that capability.
Tails Australia is the largest supplier of explosive ordnance to the ADF. But Nick says even Tails asked him if he could make the large bomb casings it's unable to.
I really don't know where the money's going.
Overseas, that's where. Defence does have a couple of working factories, but most munitions are imported. A dangerous wartime strategy, according to expert Dr. Hellier.
The people that you are reliant on may be meeting their needs. Supply lines may be cut. You can't get access to those very vital supplies.
If Nick loses, then assets like his giant hammer could be snapped up by a foreign power.
They wanted to buy our hammer.
Who wanted to buy it?
China. China wanted to buy it for those reasons.
Well, no, it's certainly no surprise at all that the Chinese government and the People's Liberation Army would be interested in those kinds of machines. You know, there's not a lot of those machines in the world. And so, yeah, they're looking around trying to find whatever capacity they can.
Dr. Hellier says our government should subsidise munitions-capable enterprises like Nick's Kaiman Forging and Engineering to stay open, so we're not caught out.
What are you asking for?
Well, naturally, firstly, I'd want my business to keep going, but we can all see the seriousness with what's happening in the world. And without forging being the foundation of defence, you know, it's where it really starts. We're not going to have a way of protecting ourselves.
Defence Minister Richard Marles declined to come on the show, but his office confirmed we import the bomb casings that Nick can make from the United States. But if we already have the capacity to make these components here at a reasonable price, why don't we? Is it really worth the risk?
What do you reckon there, Sarge? That's pretty wild, and that's yesterday's piece that they've come out with.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's scary. You don't want China to buy that fucking thing, bro. That's for sure.
don't give it to them. That's our hammer. Let's keep it.
Bro, if he can pump out munitions for Australia, it doesn't make that. To me, that's not even. That's a simple one.
Doesn't
That's a
make
lot of
sense to
money.
give another
Bit of-
country that power over us. You know what I mean? It's
I mean, importing stuff from the States, if it's made in the States, I mean, I'd trust that shit. But like that chick said, why import it when it's right here, already fucking here? And it's going to keep money. It's going to keep money in our economy. You know, the government's going to give that guy a contract. It's going to employ a bunch of Australians to make fucking weapons that defend Australia. What doesn't make sense about that?
and like you said, it supports our local economy. Yeah.
It's so fucking the head. Fuck our
If
government.
anything, we should have more of these hammers. Where did that hammer come from? What is that? And how come China can't build one? That's what I want to know. That's how powerful is this hammer? What the fuck? Apparently there's only one of them in the southern hemisphere, man. That's the only one.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's fair income, mate, because all munitions, for people who don't know, for bombs is made out of brass. So all shells, all bombs, and the reason why they make weapons that do any type of exploding out of barrels out of brass is that when the primers hit, that explosion happens within the barrel, being a rifle or an artillery or a mortar. Brass is a soft metal, so when that hits, an explosion happens, and the black powder or the nitrocellulose that expels the bullet or the artillery round explodes. That brass expands and makes a perfectly airtight seal, so it can put all its energy in projecting the projectile out into the barrel. So that's why we use brass as shells.
That's wild. Is there any other like soft metal more conductive that you could use that could be more efficient? Have you seen these new plasma weapons that these lads built?
Yeah, and you got Metal Storm too that uses electric currents.
Yeah.
And you got the new ones called the Rods of God or Rods from God that use velocity and weight because they're tungsten.
Well, one sec, my bro. I just got to quickly let Lucy outside.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so how's everyone Saturday going? Saturday night? Having a good night? I'm not doing much tonight, just chilling with J mate and the boys. I don't know if he's gonna have an open panel soon or not or whatever, but yeah, just having a good night. I hope you guys are having a good night wherever you are watching. There he is.
Yeah. Big ups, my bro. It's been a killer night for the most part. I'm glad we done this. It turned out well.
Yeah, for sure. It was good fun.
Fucking A. No, it's definitely awesome. Do we have any more questions? Oh, fucking Google. That's a bit I'll ask it for you, man. Itchy trigger finger syndrome. Google wants to know if bit out there, but did you ever shoot anyone in the face because he looked at you the wrong way?
No, 100%, mate. I can control my emotions. I'm a professional, bro. No way am I doing that. Thanks for the question, though.
Cheers, everybody. We appreciate it. Jim L. How you doing, mate? It's good to see you, dribbler. No. All right, we have another. Oh no, don't answer that. Sorry, I shouldn't have even put that up. Fucking hell, mate. Google, he's up, brother. Fucking, that was a bit out there. Sorry, Chris.
That's all right. I've never skinned anybody.
Google being Google, good on you, mate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap this stream up here. Chris, thank you so much for jumping up, man. We've got to do this again,
mate. My pleasure. Good shit. Good shit.
All right, fucking A. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe. We are going to start an open sesh after this. Anyone can jump up, come say good day. Whatever you want to do, we'll do it. But yeah, big love, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Long on.